Hello friends and welcome to our math lesson for today. Today, as promised, we're going to be talking about 3D or three-dimensional shapes. Before we do that, let's go back to 2D or two-dimensional shapes. This would be two-dimensional, it's flat, and we know that two-dimensional shapes can have a vertex or vertices, and in this case, each one of those vertex or vertices is a corner. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the shape is say it. Yeah, it's a rectangle, okay? So there's that, all right? But before we get into this, I just want to introduce you to some of the fun, or I just want to go over what a three-dimensional shape is. I'm sorry my face is out of the way of the camera right now. But I'm just trying to find my page here. Here, I'm back. So a three-dimensional shape is a solid shape, okay? Cubes and rectangular prisms have faces and vertices or vertexes. Okay, before we get into all of that, sounds very technical. This is a cube. It's square and it's three-dimensional. It's solid. And you can see if you look at it this way, it's a square. It's square in shape, but you see the dimension on it. You see how it has these dimensions going in each direction here. Another good example of that is story cubes, right? They're even called story cubes. That's because the images are on these little cubes. And these are also three-dimensional cubes, okay? So there's a good example of that. And I'll give you an example of a rectangular prism, because that's the two three-dimensional shapes we're going over now. Cubes and rectangular prisms. So here would be a rectangular prism. And I know what you're thinking. That's pasta salad, Mr. Scott. No, it's not. It's a rectangular prism. You see how this is the shape of a rectangle? Okay, but then when you look at it like this, you see it has sides, it has vertex or vertices, which would basically be each corner. And let's count the sides on each of these, ready? So this would be considered the side or the face. This is the face. Okay, I don't know if you've ever seen like a cliff where it has the face of rock there. Like some people might say, wow, look at that vertical rock face or something like that. And we're not talking about this face. We're talking about this face. The flat part on this is called a face. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this rectangular prism has faces on it and has 6 faces. But how many vertices or vertex does it have? I'll give you a hint. It's the corners. How many corners are there? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Flip it over. 5, 6, 7, 8. So 6 faces and 8 vertex or vertices on a rectangular prism. This is the face, or one of the faces. All right, let's go back to our cube. Okay, this kind of looks like it's like a dice, right? Like we looked at the story cubes, right? And we know that a dice has how many numbers on it? And a dice is a cube. How many numbers on it? 6, right? We roll a dice, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So this must have 6 faces, doesn't it? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've already flipped it all the way around this way, and then 5, 6. Okay, and if we were paying attention on the rectangular prism, it's going to have the same number of vertex or vertices. Ready? Let's count each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that side. Ready? Over. 5, 6, 7, 8. So this would be the face of a cube. Okay, so cube, rectangular prism. And I know what you're saying. That's pasta salad, Mr. Scott. But the box is a rectangular prism. Hey, while we're here, this is general knowledge trivia. Let's do a trivia question. See, it says general knowledge on there. Ready? Some of you may know this. How many keys are there on a standard piano? And the keys are those little white and black things we hit with our fingers to make music on a piano. How many keys are on a piano? I'm not going to do all the Jeopardy music. I'm not. Okay, bing, bing, bing. Do you know? It's 88 keys, 36 black, and 52 white. Now, I knew there were more white keys than black keys, but I didn't know exactly how many there were. So 52 plus 36 must be equal to 88. And there's the answer right there. All right. So that was a little side mission we went on to answer a trivia question. But let's get back to our three-dimensional shapes. So cube, rectangular prism. Okay, and they say rectangular prism because isn't this the shape of a rectangle right here? It has two long sides and two shorter sides. This side is the same length as this one, and this side is the same length as this one, and they make a, no matter how you put it, a rectangle, and this makes a square or a cube. Okay, let's go over some different shapes. Ready? Cones and cylinders. Now, you may recognize this right here. I don't know. Raise your hand if you've had an ice cream cone before. I have. I love ice cream, and I had an ice cream cone not too long ago. So, you may recognize this as the shape of an ice cream cone, but also as like a party hat, right? Okay. But on a cone, we're talking about the three-dimensional shape of cone. It has a flat side, this flat bottom. You see, this is circular. This is supposed to be a circle. I cut this out by hand. I actually made this from printer paper. Your parents will probably know how to make one of these. Not too difficult. You'll need 1 to 2 pieces of paper to do that. So this is a circle on the bottom, but this is a face. And are there any corners on here? Or, well, not over here. I don't see any corners here, but what about this right here? Would that be a vertex or a vertex? What do you think? And I know it's not like, probably better if it kind of came to a point. There we go. Yeah, this is actually the vertex or the vertex of the cone. So it has one vertex and it has one face. This is called a cone. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is do a demonstration or show you what a cylinder looks like. This is not diced tomatoes. It is not. This is a cylinder, okay? And we look at a cylinder. It has two flat sides. That's a flat side, and that's a flat side. We know that the flat sides are also called faces, right? So this is one face, and this is another face. So it has two total faces. Are there any corners on this? Do you see any corners? There's no corners. There's no spot where two straight lines come together and make something like that. So this has no vertices or vertex on it. Okay, it's just, it's a cylinder, two faces. You see it's round when you look at it this way. And it's round all around the side. I just rub my hand. There's no sharp corners or anything to it. So this is what we consider a cylinder. So cones and cylinders are two more types of three-dimensional shapes. So we've gone over a cube, a rectangular prism, a cone, and a cylinder. So we have a total of 4 three-dimensional shapes. So you see right here, it even says it. A cone does have a vertex, that very tip. both shapes have at least one face, right? This one has a face, this one has one face, and your cylinder has two faces. Only cones have a vertex, all right? And that's something that we just covered earlier. We're going to cover it again. Just has one vertex. So for this one, the answer is one face and one vertex, and here it's two faces and zero vertices. Zero vertices, okay? So it's going to ask you to identify each of these shapes. And you see they're using examples like what I used. Like they're using like a can of something to use that as an example. They're using a party hat as an example of a cone. All right, so I'm going to assign a bunch of pages for you. I think I did a really, really good job of explaining this. You know, I don't know. I've never taught this before, and I had to look at it and say, how do I teach this? Well, the best way for me to do this for you was to show you actual objects and then relate them to what you're seeing in the book. I hope I did a good job. I think I did. Look at this face. This face wants to teach. This face wants you to be happy. This face wants you to do good in school. So if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer your questions for you. But I think I explained it pretty good. It should be pretty straightforward. Go have fun with that. Learn about three-dimensional shapes. Have fun.